Hello and welcome to the Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer, and I'm here to build a model kit. I'm also here to hang out with all of you. And I'm going to start things off, I know it's wild, but I'm going to start things off by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, and the Tier 2 blue emote in chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi. You can use other people's emotes. If you would just rather lurk and you don't want to say anything, that's okay. Lurkers welcome. You just hang out. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It is a Monday. I am manufacturing energy because I do not have much of it. But I am excited for the stream. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I am happy to be here. I think it's going to be fun to hang out with you tonight while I work on the Denial Gundam. I am not in denial about working on the Denial Gundam. So, again, if you think you've got it twisted, don't get that. Undo it. Preventative maintenance so you don't get it twisted. I am happy to be here. I'm excited. I am just a little tired. I'm a little worn down. It's been a year, folks. It's only March. It's not even April yet. It's almost April. It's like a week away from being, a week and a day. A week and a day, and it'll be April. And it'll be the start of, like a fourth of the year will be gone. And that's weird. Okay, apparently Lord Crashin is here, and Lord Crashin is always twisted, which I understand. I get it. Sometimes you gotta get twisted. You gotta keep it twisted. Ghostfall says, insert the Tintin meme, except with man, what a year. It's March. Yeah, it's towards the end of March. Get your stuff in order. Hey, US folks, because statistically, if you were watching this video, either on Twitch or on my YouTube channel, if you were watching this video, statistically, you live in the United States, you identify as male, and you are between the age of 25 and 40. That's statistically, that's my wheelhouse. Is that everyone? No. Is that some of you? Yes. Lord Crashton says, for tax purposes, I'm in Ireland. Okay, yeah. What was I going to say? Hey, US person, get your taxes done. They always change them a little bit year to year. Sometimes they just get you that way. Sometimes something was a little different. Maybe the people that were supposed to send you something by the end of January didn't. And you forgot, you lost track of it. You thought like, oh, I've got all the stuff I need. And you didn't get all the stuff you needed. You should know that now. Is all of this just fucking smoke and mirrors? Yes. Are we just going through the motions of things that we shouldn't care about? Yes, but like, I don't know. Just, you probably got to get it done. I would say that there are plenty of instances where we make movies about how a character seems crazy, but is the only one that actually knows what's going on. And I think that's just movies. Because in reality, I know a guy that went to a cabin in the woods in 1999, on December 31st, 1999. He went out to a cabin in the woods because he was convinced that Y2K was going to destroy everything. Now, did he keep a bank account? Yes. He didn't close anything. He just thought that computers might blow up, so he wanted to be in a place where there weren't any computers. He was playing it safe. Is that person a father now? Yes. Seems to be doing quite well. Has kids? He's also a stepdad that stepped up. So we'll give him credit for that too. Because when he got married, kids came along with it. Then they also had kids. So he's got a blended family that seems to be doing very well. But also, in 1999, he thought maybe I shouldn't be in my house in case the computer blows up. So I'm going to go to the woods, hang out in a cabin, ring in the new year. And we had talked about this. I don't think I've ever said this out to anyone outside of our friend group. I don't think so, but we're doing it now. Let's go to the overhead camera. There's only one more part of this story that needs to be said. And it's a good, so we'll transition the overhead camera, and I'll switch my lighting a little bit here. The button on this story, the end of this story, if I was telling this as a comedy monologue, I would end with this statement, which again, all of this is true. We were hanging out in January of 2000, and we were talking about a bunch of things, and someone brought up, hey, so you went to the woods because you thought computers might blow up? It's yes, and we all had a nice chuckle about that. Yeah. I didn't quite understand what was going on, and I was just trying to take precautions. Okay. So, how are you going to know if you were right or not? And none of us had considered that possibility, that what if computers did blow up? Would they talk about it on the radio? Did he have a radio? What was his plan? And he didn't have an answer. So, do your taxes. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes being prepared, you're actually not. You're just going through the motions anyway. Your fight or flight instinct kicks in, and it's flight, and you don't follow through on that. It's good to have a plan, is what I'm saying. When I lived in New York, I should say this, because some of y'all weren't here in 2018 and 19 when I started getting into this seriously and doing streaming and living in my apartment in New York, and you don't know that part of my life. You came in. Some of y'all have only been here since I got here, doing this thing in South Carolina. So you don't know. That's okay. Welcome. Happy to have you. I moved to New York in the year 2000. I moved to New York in the year 2000, and then I left New York, and then I went back in 2001. I moved back to New York in October of 2001. Laura Crash says, I've been waiting for my tax checks to come in for long enough. I'm thinking something happened. Yeah, could be. I got my state saying, I want to go back to this. Speaking of New York, I had to file in New York my state taxes, and I already got that back, which is great. My federal taxes, I had to do some stuff, and it's annoying. But my state stuff, I put in and got that back. I made money off of residuals for money I made in New York, which means I have to file in New York, even though I don't live in the state of New York. So I have to pay to file in New York to say, hey, I made this residual money, and then New York says, okay, you can have that. And it's not never. Most of the time, when I have money coming to me back for my taxes, the money I have coming back is often not more money than it costs to file in the state of New York. For state taxes, not federal, state taxes. So that's just a fun thing. That's just a fun reality. This year was one of those years where I did get some residual money coming in. It's just the taxes on that residual that they took out, I got back, but what I got back wasn't worth it. But you can't just not do it. They generally don't. They don't like it when you don't do it. So you got to do it, and I did it. Now, G11. Let's get G11. Going back to that. So, moved to New York for a little bit, saw what was going on in New York, thought, okay, I'm going to go back to Connecticut for a while. Moved back to New York. When I moved to New York and stayed there, I lived in New York, various parts in New York City and also Jersey City, but okay, fine. Jersey City is New Jersey. It's not New York, but I say that I was in New York from 2001 until 2020. And that does account for Jersey City, which is Jersey City is unsurprisingly in New Jersey, but I count that as living in New York because I worked in New York. I was still a New Yorker. Technically, I lived for 10 months in Jersey, but I count it, whatever. Anyway, October 2001. Now, some of y'all might have picked up that I moved to New York City a month after September 11th. Like a couple days less than a month after September 11th. And I lived in Jersey City and I commuted in and yada, yada, yada. So, I had escape plan. Escape from New York plans. I had plans. Were they good plans? Not really. Were they vague plans? Actually, not really either. They were pretty good plans based on where I lived and where I often worked. What was I going to do? If I lived in Jersey City, this is how I'm going to get to various places. When I lived in more upstate of the city and Inwood, okay, well, I could do this, I could do that, I could do those things. Ideas about public transportation, and those public transportation often were not going to be available because of shenanigans and things. Okay, so then what can I do? If I can't take public transportation to get places, I could do this thing, I could do that. And it was just like, me thinking, how would I get out of the city? What would be available? What would be my plans? Some of it was, I lived in a neighborhood with a friend of mine who had a vehicle. So I would try to go to them, find them. I had friends that had, like I said, I had multiple friends with vehicles. You try to find the friends with vehicles. I had friends who had farm country that they were planning to go to because they were from New York and Pennsylvania. So you try to hitch a ride with those people. I will now tell you that in my 20s, I did have a plan based on the location I lived in New York of what I would do if a situation presented itself in which I needed to do something. I needed to get out of the city. And it's not smart. I'm sharing this with you because I'm not that different from my friend who just went down to the woods for one night because Y2K. So I'm not that different. And I need to make that clear because I don't want to act like I'm better than people. In my 20s, one of my escape plans based on where I lived in New York was that I was going to steal a boat because I did not live that far away from a harbor and a dock. So I was going to steal a boat. Now, have I ever hot-wired a boat before? No. Have I ever hot-wired anything before? No. Was this in the mid-2000s when YouTube wasn't even a thing yet, and certainly YouTube tutorials were not a thing? Yes. Was I confident that I could figure out how to hotwire a boat? No, I also wasn't. I wasn't like weirdly confident that I could do it. I just figured if shit was going down and I was near the water anyway, I would just go to the harbor and get on a dock and I would just figure shit out. My survival instincts would kick in and I would be okay to survive. And that's ridiculous. I'll tell you this. I've only driven a boat 5, 6 times, maybe 10. I've never successfully raised a sail before. I once got challenged to do it, and I did not do it properly on a very small sailboat. So even if I'd gotten down to a dock and I had managed to steal a sailboat, I would not be successful with setting sail. I would have had to find a boat with keys in the ignition, and also like figured out any safety measures to turn that off. I can tell you this. I can untie a boat from a dock. I have that ability. I have the knowledge to untie a boat. I am confident that I could do that because I have done that before. It's just what happens after that I would not be able to. Like, I could untie a boat and raise an anchor and then hope that it drifts out to sea. So that was never a good plan, but that was a plan that I did have in my head of something that I could do if vague shittery went down. It never did. I never had an excuse to evacuate the city. The closest thing we had was COVID, and I just stayed in my apartment and got masks mailed to me so I could wear masks. Some masks sent to me in the mail after wearing ventilator masks that I wear for lawn care because I have bad allergies. Wearing those because I had them. And then getting good masks. But yeah, that was very foolish to think that a boat escape was the way to go. Relying on friends of mine that had vehicles was still the smartest thing I had ever thought of my, like, I gotta go plan. Because, like, maybe Metro North, the local railroad, or Amtrak would be running. I did live near commuter trains off and on in my time in New York. So, like, that was probably an okay strategy at one point or another, was to just get on a fucking train if and when necessary. That was certainly probably an okay idea, although you never know. Yeah, the boating thing was just, what am I doing? Well, what was I even thinking? I don't have a good answer for you. I should mention, because I didn't at the top of the stream, I'm currently at, I gotta do this. I'm currently at 38 out of 40 subscribers. I shut up about how many subscribers I have when I reach 40. So if you would like me to stop talking about how many subscribers I have, you could become a subscriber. You could gift a sub. Again, we're 2 away from me not talking about it if you want to make that happen. If you don't care, that's fine too. That's okay as well. I got to put on C13 and C5. I'll do that. Now, normally on these streams, I wait until the second hour to talk to you about video games. And we will still talk about video games in the second hour. But I want to talk about this now because this is a thing that I want to tell you about a little bit more than just, oh, I'm playing this game and I like it, which is kind of generally what my gaming conversations are, or like, I'm excited about this thing that's coming out tomorrow in video games, that kind of thing. Me getting hyped. 2 things about some video game stuff. One, I am now done with Pokemon Go. I have uninstalled it from my phone, deleted it from my phone. I still have an account with it, but I am not playing Pokemon Go. I'm done. I quit cold turkey. I was waiting for, because I had spent a little real world money on some the containers to hatch eggs, to hatch a bunch of eggs, and so the money I had put into that game, all those, I had used up all of those, and so they were done. And then I decided, hey, I'm done. I am no longer playing Pokemon Go. I have downloaded a couple Match 3 games to play. I am looking probably for something similar. I would like something that, like, by walking a distance, I gain things. So I am looking for something that kind of replicates that part of Pokemon Go. And so I'll let you know if I find anything interesting, because it is nice. It's not just, oh, while I'm walking, it's nice to have some games to play, or when I'm sitting around waiting for something to download or something like that, or rebooting my router or something, which is kind of what a lot of my that gaming was doing. Really what it comes down to is it was like, oh, I should walk today. You know, I'm gonna hatch a couple eggs and I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna collect some Pokemon. I got some quests to do, and so I got to get out there. Like, it's nice having that, and so I'm gonna try to find something similar. The other thing that I want to tell you about is I did a thing that I have not done in quite some time, and I was surprised to find myself doing it, but I figured out a way to cheese it to make life better. Oh, this is actually wrong. I want to use black on this, so we'll do black over this. I played WWE 2K25. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you mean you ran some CPU versus CPU matches even though you didn't stream it because you streamed it last Tuesday? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in the video game WWE 2K25, I did matches where I was in control of a character in order to win those matches and get in-game currency. Because unlocking some arenas, unlocking some belts, unlocking some wrestlers. You get that, and then you can unlock some wrestlers. Now, you get 1,000 just for having the game, and that's usually enough for all the belts that I would want. And I had to download some belts because those belts are non-gendered belts, and I want to have that for the CPU for CPU matches. But the other thing is wrestlers. I wanted to there was a creator wrestler that I was downloading that used an entrance and some gear of a wrestler that I didn't have unlocked. And I didn't have enough points because unlocking wrestlers like 1,000, I think. And I had like a couple hundred. So I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Well, how do I get that? And it used to be the wrestlers I unlocked I didn't care about. But turns out that some creator wrestlers, there's a whole line of wrestlers that are based on, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a wrestler in the game, two versions of the wrestler in the game that neither were unlocked to begin with. You had to unlock them. And there was a fleet of joke characters, creator wrestlers, based on that. So I needed the gear and the entrances and all that. So I was like, okay, I need to figure this shit out. I got to get this shit done because I want that. I want that for future jokes. So, playing a wrestling game, I don't know. Lord Crashman, yeah, I mean, I don't enjoy wrestling games. I've never enjoyed playing wrestling games. I like the creativity. I like the bullshit. You know, occasionally people come into chat, to stream when I'm running CPU for CPU matches, and they're like, oh, are you which character do you main? And it's like, I don't at all. I don't play this game. But CPU versus CPU matches do not net you any points to unlock things. And it makes sense, right? Because then you would just like run a long Royal Rumble and have it all be CPU versus CPU and then just make a bunch of things. And you get graded on like uniqueness and of that, like you can match grade. So you get some matches aren't worth whatever. So you don't want to just have two controllers plugged in and immediately pin the other person, and then you just, because you get like no points for that. So you have to kind of have some matches going. So I looked up like best way to get points in WWE 2K25. You know, looking up previous games as well. And of course, I'm not the first person to think of this, right? Other people have thought, hey, I would like to cheese this. How do I cheese this? So I will let you know how I cheese it. You can do a thing called custom matches. You can make a custom match. Now you can just do it in the play menu, but the better idea is to go into your make a custom match as a template and then add it. So that way you can just always select it. So you make a handicap falls count anywhere match, a 2-on-1 tag. So a handicap match where on one side you have two players and the other side you have one player. You are one of the two people on one team and a CPU versus a CPU. You do false count anywhere because that way it is a no DQ match, and also you could just the CPU will pin the other one, because that way you don't have to worry about pinning and mini games. You just let the other person do all the work. You pick a strong character, you pick your tag team partner to be a strong character, and then you create a wrestler who has terrible stats and bad moves. In this case, I modified Robin 66 because Robin is short, and I just made Robin 66, which was a creator wrestler that we had last week, into a terrible character. And then you set up the match, and then you play. And over the weekend, I got kind of okay at WWE 2K25 in this thing. I know how to get in and out of the ring. I know how to pick up weapons. Oh, also, you make the weapon wheel all different kinds of weapons, because using different weapons, like using like all cane, like kendo sticks doesn't give you more points, but using a kendo stick and a shovel and a baseball bat will get you more points because of the variety. So that way, yeah, I learned how to get weapons. I knew how to throw weapons and use weapons. I've learned how to grapple and reverse. I've learned how to jump off the top rope or springboard off the middle rope to the outside, which I did not know how to do. I have learned how to get a table out and to set up a table and then put people through a table. And yeah, I did a bunch of that all throughout the weekend to earn points to unlock characters. And now I've got it set up so I can just do that whenever. And the actual plan is to have a bunch of points set aside, ready to go for the next time I stream the game, so that if, as I'm getting ready to download some creator wrestlers, I can just get whatever I need. And then live, if someone says like, hey, I'd love to see Roddy Piper in a match, I can be like, okay, I think I've unlocked, or British Bulldog. I unlocked the British Bulldog because it was an entrance, a custom entrance for a dog-based creator wrestler. So I wanted to have that for that. Now, if someone's just like, I would love to see British Bulldog in a match, I can make that request happen because I unlocked British Bulldog. But if there's someone else, I can go in and unlock them. Now, there are some characters that are not locked behind that. They are locked out in My Rise or in Jimmy Hart. For Jimmy Hart, I have to do my showcase mode, and at some point, Jimmy Hart shows up, and then I can have Jimmy Hart. So guess what? I'm not doing that. This is the most I'm going to do for this game, is just play some CPU versus CPU and me matches in WWE 2K25. I turned the sound off in the game. I have muted everything. I had YouTube videos in another window as I was just hitting people with weapons and then jumping on things, throwing weapons, occasionally accidentally attacking my tag team partner, Jey Uso, who was one of the strongest people in the game. I was playing as CM Punk because I like the idea of CM Punk as a character who would be in a 2-on-1 match and still think that he's tough. So taunting a CM Punk was fun. Also, sometimes I jump out of the ring onto the floor and miss and eat shit, and that makes me laugh when it's Punk doing it. So I do that, and then yeah, Robin gets beat up, and generally, occasionally I do the pinfall, but usually it's Jey Uso who makes the pin, which is great. He seems to love that, and then we celebrate at the end, and then I get between 100 and like 400 points occasionally. And sometimes Robin does well. Robin's never won, I'll tell you that. Robin's never been able to beat us. But sometimes Robin gets close. Robin gets a cheap shot in. We'll make it happen. Lord Crash says, muting a game is how you know you're serious about playing a game. Indeed. I just didn't want to hear the sound effects and the announcer, so I just turned everything off. Also, I turned off entrances. And then, here's the thing, right? So you set the match up. You do the match. You get the points. Then you do a rematch. So that way you just do it over again. And you just do that. But everything you did in the previous match doesn't matter. So you can just do anything you did there again. I still have not done a finisher. I have not figured out how to do a finishing move, a go to sleep. I have not sent anyone to sleep. Someday I may learn how to do that. It's not necessary for this scam, for this cheesing method. But yeah, that was my weekend because I wanted to download a Hololive character and I needed the British Bulldog for this Hololive character's entrance. And then there was another character I wanted that required 2 characters that I had to download. So I had to do that. And I was like, fine, I'll download Mankind and then another one. I don't want to mention one because I have a whole faction now. I have a whole faction of parody characters for this character, which makes me very happy and is very silly. So I did that. That'll be a future stream. I don't know when I'm going to do it again. It'll probably be up for vote in April. I should say now, I would like to say now, I'm going to say now, tomorrow's stream, 9 p.m. Eastern, is my Pat Baer's Anime Club live episode, my winter review and my spring preview. That's right. It's my opportunity to talk a whole lot about anime with you to promote. So I'm promoting that now. Please check it in. It'll be generally these are my longest streams. I didn't watch as much anime in the winter season as I did in the fall season or the summer. So that should be a little shorter on that end, but there's a lot of good shit coming out next season that I'm excited about. So I'll have a lot to talk about. In the second hour tonight, I have anime to talk about. I knew that ZENSHU was wrapping up. I did not know that Sakamoto Days was wrapping up because it was episode 11, and I thought they were going to get 12, but they only had an 11-episode season. So I was like, oh, shit. All right, well, I'm done with 2 shows. Okay. So I got one more episode of... I'm going to wrap up on Saturday. I will talk about Soriaro Utility. And then I'll be done talking about all of the anime from this season. And then it'll just be new anime to talk about. I'll have that new anime. Getting hyped for the new shit. When is the first new show? I'm looking this up right now. Annie Chart. Annie Chart will give me the business here. So I'm doing spring. Let's do next airing episode. Next week, Sword of the Demon Hunter. Kijin Gento show is coming out next week, which I will not be watching because it does not look interesting at all. The first episode has a runtime of an hour, so no. Let's see, when's the first anime episode I'm actually going to watch? Once Upon a Witch's Death. That doesn't seem interesting either. Catch Me at the Ballpark, which comes out a week from tomorrow. Catch Me at the Ballpark is the one about a guy who starts hanging out at a baseball stadium to relax, and then he finds out there's a Giru, the girls that bleach their hair and act tough, that is a beer server. And then finds out I guess it's a romance show. I thought it was a show because it's original. I thought, no, it's based on manga. Sorry, it's based on manga. I thought it was about a lot of different girls. It turns out to be a romantic comedy, but it's a work-based romantic comedy, I guess. And that does sound fun. So that's the first show I'll watch. Who picked that up? Did anyone pick this up? Yeah, Crunchyroll picked that up. Okay. I'm not going to say what that one. Oh yeah, hell yeah. When I don't know what I'm covering next season because a bunch of shows that I'm excited about next season are sequels. There is some girls doing things shows that I'll be watching, like Rock is a Lady's Modesty. I think I'll be covering Rock is a Lady's Modesty because that is the all girls elite academy that form a rock band, and that just seems cool as shit. So I kind of want to watch that. But like, am I gonna cover Fire Force season 3? Probably not. I might cover Mappa's new show, Lazarus, because it's it's the guy what brought you Cowboy Bebop doing an original for Mappa, and like it's getting 13 episodes, so like probably gonna watch that and cover that. I'll be watching and probably not covering I've Been Killing Slimes for 300 Years and Max Out My Level Season 2. I'm just so happy that that show has a sequel because it fucking rules. So I'm glad that that show's getting a sequel. That makes me happy knowing that game is that anime, I should say, is coming out and more people are going to be able to see it and talk about it. Speaking of anime, I will not argue about whether or not the show that is coming out soon, the Netflix adaptation, animation adaptation, coming out next month for Devil May Cry, which is coming out on April 3rd, which I have no plans necessarily to watch, but I am culturally aware of it because I like Devil May Cry, but I'm not like super into Devil May Cry. Hey, Evanescence is putting out a new song for it. We don't know if it's just like going to be a BGM, if it's just in the first episode, if the song is the closing theme, is it the opening theme? We don't know. We do know that this Devil May Cry anime, the teaser trailer that came out a couple months ago was set to Rollin' by Limp Bizkit. So I've said this a couple places. I said it on Blue Sky, but I'll say it here as well. They've been going out of their way to let you know what this show is. This show is telling you what it is and what it's about. And if you choose to be on board with it or not, that's up to you. And that's okay. But like, if you're like, oh, Evanescence, that's weird. Rollin' by Limp Bizkit, that's weird. Well, that's probably not indicative of what the show is going to be about. That's on you, my friends. If you hear this information and your response is, well, I bet it's still going to be something and not this. No. They're telling you loud and clear. You just have to decide if you're going to listen or not. This is a show that has some fucking butt rock in it and has some emo / metal stuff. Evanescence is making a new song for it. I really hope it's not an entirely licensed soundtrack. DMC has a really good music they could just use. Well, Lashbrook, they can't do that. That's not how that works. I'm sorry to say. The animation studio licensed characters and artwork ideas. That's it. They didn't license the video game. None of the things in the video game story ideas, sure. It's not the same. Like, sometimes music from a show, from a seminal series, will show up in the show. Like, if you're doing Castlevania and you're not doing a variation of some of the songs you hear in your head when you think of Castlevania, yeah, that's probably a mistake. But they don't have to do that, and they don't necessarily have that. Like, the music that was created for Devil May Cry was created for the video games Devil May Cry, and that's a licensing thing that they would then have to also do, besides licensing the characters and lore and all of that from them. So, like, there might not be any... Honestly, it might have nothing to do with Devil May Cry at all. It may just have a couple character names. I mean, they even got a different guy to do the voice. Like, who knows? Like, I think I did Nero to do the voice. It's weird. But yeah. My assumption is that the song that is coming out from Evanescence is the theme for it, and that's indicative of what they're doing. And Limp Bizkit was just for the trailer because they thought it was cool. I don't know. Who knows? But that was a piece. There's not a lot of gaming news today. Not a lot in the world of video games to chat about because, you know, it was a slow news day. There was some stuff that I was like, I do not care about this. Like, I do not feel bad for the GTA 5 modder who got a cease and desist from Take-Two because they based on trailers, they tried to recreate, or they tried to create what they think GTA 6 looks like as a mod, and then made a YouTube video about the mod they made, and then they got a cease and desist about the YouTube video, and they were mad about it, and it's just like, what do you think any of this is? Like, one of their points was, this is a greedy company, and what I'm doing now is building hype for the video game. It doesn't hurt anything. And I'm like, it's Grand Theft Auto 6, my guy. It doesn't need you. Like, your big they shouldn't fuck with me thing is that you're like helping them advertise the game. No, you're not. You just made a thing. You made a mod. You spent a long time making a mod, and like, all right. Okay. Also, you definitely named that video GTA 6, whatever, to get some SEO and some search terms and try to trick people into thinking that you have footage of GTA 6. So I don't know, my guy. Like, that was a big news story today. So I was like, okay, well, there's not a lot going on in the world of news. Like, look, I am not simping for Take-Two. I'm not simping for Rockstar here. I do think that it is cool when people make mods. But, like, your YouTube video about the mod you made is not, like, guerrilla advertising. Nah, you just made a thing. It's okay. Why can I not get this hand together here? Try to get this hand together here. I don't know. That was a big news story. I was just like, I don't want to talk about that. And then, look, unfortunately, I did talk about it. Unfortunately, I did talk about it with you. So what other news stories can I say? Indiana Jones and the Great Circle will be available on PlayStation 5 in a couple weeks from now. There was the voice actor Troy Baker and Noah North did a little thing. But yeah, it's coming out in April. It's a joke little thing. It's like them being confused for each other. April 17th, you can play it on PS5. And if you want to get the premium edition, you can play it 2 days early, which is, one, playing a single player game early is ridiculous, paying for that opportunity, and two, paying for a port to a different console early is so funny, because it's just like, okay, sure. But yeah, if you want to play early, you can get the deluxe version again early. Again, it sounds like exclusivity. That's a tough word for me to say. Is not like universal with Xbox titles, because it sounds like South of Midnight is just coming out on Xbox and then may go, but right now is just that. But they haven't announced that or anything. But then Doom the Dark Ages is going to be day and date on PS5 and Xbox. So some things totally right now. Other things probably later. And we'll see. So yeah, not much to say about that. Yes, Lord Crash said nothing of importance happened today, but certainly not in the world of video games. Now, we are getting a Switch 2, official Switch 2 thing, so there will be more to talk about soon. And people, comments swirling about all that, but there will be stuff to talk about later. But right now, this is what we got. Here's a positive bit of news today, and one of the only things I talk about. The metadata on the Steam page of Hollow Knight Silksong got updated. Literally, that is a piece of good news. Good news. people who are hyped for Silksong, the Steam page metadata got updated. I know, Ghost Valve. Wowie zowie. The game that was announced in 2019. 2020, they said, hey, it's coming out within a year, almost a year past, which would have been June 2023, and they were like, hey, it's gonna be delayed. And then some point fairly recently, someone on the doing PR for it replied to a thing and said, like, yeah, that's in development, that it's not abandonware. Please don't call it abandonware. We're working on it. Okay, so the Steam update is unbelievably minor. It is just saying that it is opted in for the GeForce Now support, which means that if you have GeForce Now and you can run like games in the cloud, one of those games supported in the cloud on GeForce Now will be Silksong, Hollow Knight Silksong. Can't wait for E3, says Lysantis. Indeed, Lysantis. We'll hear more about it at E3. And in February, there was another thing that it's now going to be into the Steam family sharing system. It's just a bunch of tweaks. It's all normal shit. None of it's weird. Also, one thing that I thought was very funny was that a VTuber started playing, a Japanese VTuber started playing Hollow Knight, the original Hollow Knight, kind of out of nowhere. And so Japanese like message board chatter was that saying that was confirmation that that Silksong is coming out and they're going to be working with Niji-san. And it was just like, no, they just didn't like. Basically, it was very funny because this person was just like, I just always wanted to play it, and I didn't feel like playing Monster Hunter because I played Monster Hunter a lot recently. So I just thought I would play this because people talk about it a lot. I'm not doing it. This is not part of something. It was just very funny because it was like, that's how much people just be like, that's just trying to, yes, Lord Crafton, they're just throwing you off the trail. But it's so funny that there was like a VTuber of some note was playing that. And that was enough for people to be like, it's coming soon. Okay. All right. But yes, stay tuned for Summer Game Fest for more. Yes, they're so close. Is there any other things? Probably no other updates for news. I want to see. No. Okay. No other news stories on GameDeveloper.com. And then flying mounts are coming to Minecraft. I'm really digging deep, friends, because I got nothing to say about that, really. Minecraft is getting a visual upgrade, flying mounts, and a quality of life feature. I'm going to look at that. Let's see. Vibrant visuals, a visual overhaul coming to the Bedrock edition of Minecraft this year on PC, XNS, and PlayStation 5. I'm sorry, I need 7 here. Okay, there's some other thing that's coming. Let's see. Player locator bar. Mojang is briefly touched on. The new UI feature will make it easier for players to find another one across the map. This is the thing that people who do group servers for this are very excited about, because now you're like, where are you? And you had to like vaguely describe who you are or use landmarks. Now they can find you. Now, could this lead to griefing? I mean, yeah, but they'll find you anyway. If people want to grief you on a multiplayer server, that'll happen no matter what. And maybe that's something that you're actually looking for because you're looking for content. So you're like excited about the griefing. But yeah, that's cool. No specific release date, sometime this year. And also, oh, that's right. The Switch 2 Direct is next week. I thought it was this week. Switch 2 Direct is next week. Okay. And the Minecraft movie also comes out next week. From what I understand, normally you have to use coordinates, which aren't easy to find. Yes, it goes about either use coordinates or you do vague like descriptions of where you are. So that's cool. Players will appear as color-coded blips on the horizontal bar near the bottom of the screen. And that sounds cool. That sounds like a quality of life feature. That sounds like a thing that you're surprised wasn't already in there, right? Like, maybe you're not, but I am. I'm like surprised that wasn't already a thing in Minecraft because it feels like a no-brainer. And that's good for Minecraft players. Good on them. But like I said, like, I don't have much to say about that, but it's a slow news day for games and gaming. Let's see. GOG preservation program. The guy who was mad at racists. Related to Assassin's Creed that went viral. No, remember that. Yeah. And we're starting to hear, the press is heating up for the Minecraft movie, so Jack Black has a song in it and doing a bunch of press for that, so we'll start seeing more. Apparently, Jack Black got really into playing Minecraft on the set of the movie Minecraft. Not ever before, which is okay, because whatever, play with the games you want to play. But I'm like, I don't know if I believe you. Like, do I believe that Jack Black plays video games? I do. I know the man plays video games. Do I think that with somebody who knows how to play Minecraft, showing Jack Black what you can do in Minecraft, Jack Black would be like, okay. Yeah. Do I think he put 100 hours into Minecraft while on the set of the Minecraft movie? No. That's a fun thing to say that is a PR-approved anecdote that people can say about Jack Black to make it seem like Jack Black is really into Minecraft so that video game sites will talk about it. They would talk about it anyway. But yeah, that to me feels like, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't buy that shit. I do buy that, like, Jack Black still likes video games because, like, I know he plays video games. Like, I don't know what else to say there. I know that he has and he will continue probably to play video games. I need stickers number 4. Stickers number 4 right here. I think Mary Kish's trip last week was related to some press junket thing for the movie with Jack Black. Yes, Jack Black was on a famous streamer's channel, and I would imagine that Mary Kish was somehow involved with that. And there was like a big junket and a bunch of other stuff. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Twitch is all in on being a promotional partner with the movie. Yes. Dirty. So here's the thing. Jack Black has had his own entertainment stuff that he does on the side, including a YouTube channel off and on. Years ago, for the movie Nacho Libre, Jack Black started a video podcast. So you could download it on iTunes, and it was a video podcast. And it was him he couldn't talk too much about the movie Nacho Libre because it was, it wasn't the promotional cycle yet for it, but he was on the set of Nacho Libre, so he would have costumes on and make vague references about the movie, but he had to fill time in a podcast, so he would talk about video games that he was playing, and he would talk about a bunch of things. So the guy games, and I'm not saying he doesn't game. I know he does. I'm just saying I don't think that Jack Black played 100 hours of Minecraft on the set of Minecraft. I just think that is a fun story to tell. I bought the GOG version of Silent Hill 4 after the preservation program update, but I haven't played it yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, GOG has been doing their preservation things, which is cool. Such a game hater, Pat, says Lord Crash. Okay, no, I just understand how promotion works. When Jack Black appeared on Jimmy Fallon with Tim to talk about the video game that Jack Black is a voice in, and they were like, oh, yeah, Double Fine made this video game. The first game developer to ever be on Jimmy Fallon. When Tim showed up there and they were talking about the game and all the things you can do in it and all this stuff, at no point did Jack Black say he had ever played the video game, which is fine. We don't know if he ever did. But when he was, talking about Brutal Legend and all that. But the thing that they didn't say at any point, which is fine, again, is they didn't at any point say, oh yeah, well, I did some singing for it, but most of the dialogue was done by a sound-alike because, Double Fine can't afford Jack Black to do all those lines. So he did the singing, his character sings, that's Jack Black's voice. But most of the dialogue is a sound-alike in a video game, because it's a fucking video game. Jack Black wasn't going to do all the hours of a main character in a video game. And Double Fine could not afford Jack Black for all of that. And that's fine they didn't say that. Fun fact about that interview, I remember it very well because I was asked for some questions to ask Tim. Because there were gamers on staff, but the research department were not gamers at all. But one of the people in the research department was like, I'm going to ask my friend Pat Baer. And so I got an email saying, hey, this is happening. Jack Black's over there. They're going to talk about this video game. If you have any anecdotes. And I was like, okay, well, here's some games that he worked on. Here's some seminal works. Here is a thing that, I literally, I don't remember what the questions were that I sent my friend, but they were, some deep cut things. But I was like, a thing you could do is you could do something if you wanted to. And so at a certain point, I was like, here are some questions you could ask. And here are the answers, the actual answers, the leading questions and all that. Because you don't know what you're going to ask Tim. But one thing you could do is you could say some of the names of games that Double Fine and he has worked on and see if anyone in the crowd woos it. And you could that could be a bit. And they do that in the thing. At one point he says Grim Fandango and one guy goes, woo! Really just loves it. And then that's a big laugh because it's just oh, who's what? They react to that and it's that's a good gimmick. Did I pitch a bit? Yes. I just remembered he was in a commercial for Pitfall. Hell yeah, he was. I showed that at a 404ing it back in the day. Because it's oh, check it out. It's fucking Jack Black in a commercial for Pitfall. But yeah. So I remember that very well. But it's very funny because I was they're probably not going to ask, so who's the guy that does your voice? Yes. Jack Black is in the not based on a movie, not based on a book sequel to Neverending Story. He is a delinquent, tough guy in the real world in one of the Neverending Story sequels. I believe the one that is whole cloth made up and not based on anything. He was a working actor. He was doing his thing, taking the jobs. A friend of mine auditioned to be a Jack Black sound-alike for Kung Fu Panda, one of the Kung Fu Panda video games, I should say. Specifically, one of the Kung Fu Panda video games, he auditioned for that role. And then also auditioned for the sequel to that role, because Jack Black did not do any of the voices in those. That is a common thing, sound-alikes. Tim Allen's brother often does his voice in video games for Toy Story, because they sound alike, weirdly, and it's approved, and it's not like going behind his back. It's like he doesn't want to do those things, so they get a sound alike to do that. And then, yeah, the Kung Fu Panda video games are always somebody else. He doesn't do any of those. Try to remember. Andy Samberg did the Lego Movie video game. He did the voice because he was really excited about doing that. But Will Ferrell is a sound-alike in there, because Will Ferrell, they didn't get Will Ferrell for the video game. But that is a common thing. That is nothing new. I'm trying to remember. There's a Disney animated TV show where the guy who does the voice acting of one of the characters was saying that this is a bad story, because I do not remember what animated thing, but it's a Disney animated show based on a Disney movie, and one of the voice actors for it is doing a sound alike, and he basically said, I'm doing this, and how the voice actor, the real voice actor from the movie, explains it is, I'm like a mall Santa. Like, I'm out there doing the thing. He's the real guy. I'm out there doing the thing. And I was like, oh, that's a fun way to look at it. One thing I do want to point out, though, generally when you TV shows, you get sound alikes, you don't get the real people. One notable exception of that is in the Aladdin animated cartoon series for Disney. Gilbert Gottfried reprises his role because Gilbert Gottfried wanted that TV animated money. They literally, often when they get sound alikes, they ask the original people, is there someone you recommend? Is there somebody that does an impression of you? Because often it's voice actors they like, or, hey, we're thinking of asking so-and-so to do this because they have a good impression of you. How do you feel about that? And so they approached people like Robin Williams was not going to do it. And some people did reprise. But they asked Gilbert Gottfried, and he was just like, well, why am I not getting that? And they were like, oh, well, we didn't think you would want to. And he was like, I'm a bird that yells. I can do it. What? Like, I'm in LA or New York. I could be in a studio tomorrow. Gilbert Gottfried was not about to let that paycheck go. And I respect that about Gilbert Gottfried. I always have. That man wanted to work. He was not gonna say no to a sweet animated gig. Because he's also in the other made-for-TV, the direct-to-home video ones. He's like, yeah, put me in. I'll do that. I wasn't gonna say no. Yeah, yes, always be hustling. Now, some people are so big, like I said, Tim Allen isn't gonna do a video game. He's just not gonna do a video game. But his brother will get the work, take the work, no problem. I found out yesterday that Eric Roberts is in dozens of movies and shows every year. Yes, Eric Roberts doesn't say no to things. He negotiates to get that money, but he'll but if you're giving him that money, he'll show up. He'll do the thing. Yes, also Eric Roberts is he acts in movies and TV shows. But like, he's not being hoity-toity about it. He works. He wants to work, and he's going to work. A thing with working actors is sometimes you're not working. A working actor is just someone that is an actor and hopefully has work. But you're always an actor. It's just sometimes you don't have a paycheck. You never know when the next one's coming in. Residuals are crap these days. It's just negotiations are bad. They end shows before the the renegotiations come in, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And also sometimes actors do weird shit that and they take scale for it because they're interested in doing it. Like Ray Liotta is in the Uwe Boll, terrible Uwe Boll Dungeon Siege movie. He did not get paid much. He took scale for that. Now, they didn't have a budget anyway. And you're like, well, why? Because who the fuck was going to hire Ray Liotta to do a Shakespearean role? Now, was that character supposed to be Shakespearean? No. But he was like, I'm going to do an accent. I'm going to ride a horse. I don't want a stage person to do that. I don't want a body double. I know how to ride a horse, and no one has ever hired me to ride a horse in a movie. So I'm going to ride a horse in a movie, and I'm going to put on a British accent because I'm Ray Liotta, and people aren't going to hire Ray Liotta for that. Wait, didn't that also have the transporter guy in it? Yes. And he's basically the transporter. Yes. Why can't I remember his name? He's in Hobbs and Shaw and a bunch of other things. He's a transporter, but he's a bunch of things. And his name will come to me at some point. I don't know why I'm blanking. He's the beekeeper. Most recent movie. And the star of Crank and Crank 2. But yeah, like Jason Statham. Thank you, Lord Crashington. But yeah, who's going to tell... Well, a bunch of people are going to tell Ray Liotta, hey, we hired you to play an Italian mobster in this. We hired you to play an older tough guy, a former tough guy. Hey, Ray Liotta, we think it would be really fun if you were in our movie for one day and we will pay you X amount of dollars. And then we get to say, like, holy shit, that's Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta's in our movie. We're paying to meet you. We are paying to meet you and have you say a few lines on our movie. Is that okay? But like Uwe Boll was like, you're the second lead in our movie, and you get to like act if you want to. And so that's why Ray Liotta didn't take much money for that, because he was like, when the fuck am I going to get to do that? And that rules. I love that. I love that for him. Rest in peace. Yeah. I like when actors just get paid to be their hero trope in an endless parade of no-name movies. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like, workers got to work, and people got kids, like people want a second house. People want to pay off their first house, their first mortgage. Maybe you want to send your kids to a better college than you went to, or that you didn't go to college. Maybe you want your kids to like bum around Europe for a couple of years, and you just want them to be able to go do that while they figure it out because you made a bunch of movies. I don't know, like, somebody, there's an, who was this? The actor's name escapes me and I apologize, but somebody did something about like, are you looking for a Tarantino project? As you may remember, some actors have reinvented their careers by doing a Tarantino movie. And that has been great for some actors who people didn't really think too much about to have like a star, like a page-turning role. And this actor said, if Quentin Tarantino wants me in a movie, that would be great. If like McG wants me in a movie, that would be great. Like, if Michael Bay wants me in a movie, that would be great. I'm available. And it was just like, okay, yeah, that sounds great. Looking at the star-studded cast now, I completely forgot Burt Reynolds was also in there. Yes! Burt Reynolds is also in there because like, and Burt Reynolds was just like, where? What? Okay, sure. I've never been able to confirm if Burt Reynolds is actually in that Saints Row the Third, or if that is a sound-alike. I've never been able to confirm. He's credited as being in it, but I don't know. I've asked. But the people I knew at Volition at the time, one of them never got back to me, and the other person didn't know because that was nowhere near where they were, and they one person was like, I can ask, and then I never heard. But I always wanted to know if that was actually Burt Reynolds or if it was a sound alike. I think it was. I know it's really Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper is in that game. I know that because he got a call from other people in the cast saying, hey, they have this idea, and do you want to do it? And he was like, we're going to do a They Live joke in a video game? Yeah, all right, I'll do that. Sure. And there's all the recordings, they really play it out and all that, and the twist and all that stuff. He was just like, okay, sure, I'll be in that. So Roddy Piper is in that game. I talked way too much about that. This is my opportunity right now, is to pause for the cause. This is my opportunity to talk to you about ways you can support the channel and what I do here. Everything I'm about to talk to you is optional. You are no obligation to do any of these things. If you would like to, I would love it for you to do that. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you're currently a subscriber to the Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote into chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through Cash Money or your Prime Gaming token. If you have Amazon Prime linked to your Twitch, you get a token. You can use that token for me. That would be great. We are currently at 38 subscribers. The goal is to get to 40. I shut up at 40. If you want to become a subscriber, if you aren't already, if you want to gift a sub to somebody in the community, join the gift sub leaderboard along with Puppet Jared and Aristofan and Harold and an anonymous person that gave 5, which is great. You could do that. Bits and coins always appreciated. If you want to join or you want to be the top of the bits, the cheerleader board, get some of them bits, you could do that. There are other ways to support what I do here. I'm going to quickly go through those, and then we got to talk about some anime and get into all that. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/PatBaer. Over on my Patreon, there's a $1, a $3, a $5, and a $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. You could do that if you wanted to. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBaer. Watching my videos, obviously, free for you. You could also subscribe for free, and you could become a member. And for just $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So you would see tomorrow what the last in my March series for Kuma Baer, where I've been talking about girls doing things anime. You can find out what the last one is, which is somewhat timely. So you could watch that tomorrow if you wanted to, instead of waiting until Wednesday. Let's see. Everything I make through. So one last thing. Sorry. I don't know why I couldn't remember to say the monies thing. Those are monthly ways to support me. If you would like to support me just once in a while, you could go and you could, if you wanted to, jump in there, make a direct donation to my Ko-Fi or my PayPal. Everything I make through direct donations through YouTube, which includes AdSense, so watching my videos helps me out, through Patreon and through Twitch, all goes into a fund. And out of that fund, I buy model kits so that I keep building model kits. It's pretty cool. Now, the kit I'm currently working on, I was able to buy because of your generosity, the Denial Gundam. And I have a backlog full of some cool stuff. I recently added a model kit I'm very excited to work on because it's a pirate-themed model kit. And that'll go for my $10 patrons to vote on what I build next, probably. Now, if you want to have a say in what I build next, you could buy something for me to build. I would make a dedicated video for my YouTube channel about the thing that you purchased, giving you a shout out and all that, or anonymous if you want to stay anonymous, and it'll be the next thing I build. I've got model kits, I got Lego sets, I've got a puzzle, a 500-piece puzzle from Magic the Gathering. I've got, I built one of those. It was a good time. I got another one of those to build if we wanted to. All kinds of things that I would love to build here. Inexpensive things all the way to things that are very expensive, that are not on sale, that don't have Prime shipping, all kinds of things. Some cool Lego stuff, some cool model kits. We have two kits on the list that are from the Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, which is, as of right now, the most recent Gundam series because the new one is coming, but all that. But you know what I mean. A Lego Panda thing from Lego Dreams. A 3-in-1 flamingo, a Lego that makes a flamingo, a cockatoo, or an axolotl. So it's just different, which looks cool. That's just like a cool Lego set. It's a big pink flamingo. All kinds of different things and things. Hey, you want to build a mech and a metal Sonic minifig? I got a kit there, a Lego set there with some Lego Sonic stuff. I don't know, a bunch of different things and things. If you'd like to see me build any of those things, you could purchase them. They come in the mail. You get a dedicated video, and they jump the queue. If you want to support me, but you don't want to go into Amazon, I gotcha. I got a throne wish list. That would be cool. And of course, you could always go to USA Gundam Store. You go to USA Gundam Store, you buy a gift card. They will send you an email with a gift card code. Then you will send me a whisper on Twitch or a DM on Twitter or Mastodon or Blue Sky with that gift card code. And then I will use that gift card code to buy something from USA Gundam Store. You can even make a suggestion. I just want to see here. Okay. Just checking my messages to see if anything showed up there. Okay. All right. If you want to support me, but you don't want to spend any money, you can always just hang out in my Discord. I got a lovely Discord. We'd love to have you over there. It's chill. It's pretty quiet sometimes, but generally it's really chill. I got a couple video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. I listed 4 anime movies, specials, and shows that are very obscure. Like literally on my anime list, which is tied to AniChart that I use for this stuff, I found videos or shows that like less than 2,000 people have said they've even watched on my anime list, which has millions of users and a lot of active users on there. So that was wild to find 4 examples. And one of which is just a show on Crunchyroll you could just watch easily. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series. And every week I recommend a show. I do a theme for every month. This month is Girls Doing Things. And so I talked about Little Witch Academia, which is a school-based show about young ladies wanting to do witchcraft and bringing back witchcraft. It's about the highs and lows and the friends we made along the way. There is a bit of a mystery. It's occasionally a little dramatic because Girls Doing Things shows do not have to be all sunshine and roses. Sometimes they can get fucking real. In this case, we did. And Little Witch Academia is phenomenal. You should check it out. Watch my 1-minute video about it. All right. So I've got some anime to chat about, which we'll get into. Before I do that, I do need to dramatically transition back to the overhead camera, and I need to drink some water, and we will do that dramatically right now. All right. Let's talk about the final episodes of Sakamoto Days and ZENSHU. Episode 11 of Sakamoto Days, I think I mentioned this earlier, I did not know this was the final episode. I did not know they were doing an 11-episode season because often, because like manga adaptations don't think about, okay, we're going to do this story and then they're going to like cut out a bunch of stuff and they'll get it down to like 12 episodes, right? They just do stuff and then it gets adapted. So often a show will have like the main story introductory arc will be like 9 episodes or 8 episodes, and then like a truncated arc or like a teaser for the next season or something like that will come out. So often I am not surprised when a show kind of wraps up at like episode 9. Like this show did. And so I was like, okay, well, 10, 11, and 12 will be like a small arc or a side story or part of a larger arc that will end on a cliffhanger. No, this had 11 episodes, and episodes 10 and 11 were just like a tiny little part of the show. And then there's just like we're done. And I was not prepared for it because I was like, wait, are we wrapping this fucking show up here? What's going on? And I was like, oh, wait. I looked it up. I was like, oh, there's only only 11 episodes. Weird. Sorry. I need part number. This lighting. I'm going to change this lighting. Sorry. Yeah, parts number 5 and 6. All right, I'm going to go back to this lighting now. So yeah, the final episode. Basically, they were in a casino, and there's a war going on. The various things they want Lou, the girl, to be part of a crime family. She doesn't want it. They're in a competition with the guy Wu-Tang, which is cool. Don't get me wrong, it's very cool. But they're trying to gamble some money, and he's whipping their asses, and it's an unfair fight. But they're kind of talking about their strategies. And here's the thing that Wu-Tang doesn't know. Shin has telepathy. So he goes to do a card game because, like, the idea is like, well, he can read people's minds. So that's a huge advantage. Well, the problem is the comedy comes in there. He doesn't know how to play card games. And so he doesn't know the game's rules, so he can't really cheat. So Lou's like, I'll do it. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it. And so then they're like, wait, this is a good hand. And so they're like, so he's basically clear. He doesn't know what he's doing. They're like, they see he has good hands, so they trick the table by basically being like, you should stop playing. You should just do whatever. And he goes, no, I know what I'm doing. And he goes all in. And then everyone thinks that he's a sucker, so he ends up winning a bunch of money. And so they get a bunch of money there. Taro ends up cheat. Again, this is a legal gambling den, so they're just cheating, blatantly cheating right now. He uses a poker chip really fast and uses his fast assassin reflexes to knock a casino ball into the spot they needed to be in. Again, blatantly cheating, just doing whatever he wants to do. They're cheating. They're cheating a casino. They're running roughshod on this place. Apparently, Wu-Tang has he has good memorization skills, so he's just winning at blackjack, but that's slower than what they're doing. Then apparently in the past we have a flashback. Do we need a flashback about Wu-Tang? No, but we get one. He used to be bullied by members of the Liu clan that Liu is a part of. And they think that he is not fit to be in the clan and he should quit. And then Liu apparently saved him from said bullies. And Wu-Tang was just like, yeah, I didn't fight back. I was just going to tell... This was a young man. He's like, yeah, I was just going to tell people later what happened. I thought that made more sense for me to live to fight another day. And Lou is just like, all right, you're pretty smart. Someday when I run this place, work hard so you can stand by my side. And that apparently motivated him at that time and continued to motivate him. So now we know, well, he's not such a bad guy this whole time because he's got motivation. Like I said, did we need a flashback? Not really, but we did get a flashback. And it's a pretty good little flashback about character motivations of a character we met last episode. And Wu-Tang wanted Liu's dreams to come true and wanted her to run the clan. That was the whole thing that he wanted. Wu-Tang and Sakamoto and the group, they have the same amount of chips and it doesn't draw. So the idea is that they're going to play a card game. It's all going to come down to this card game. And that card game is Old maid. And Wu-Tang gets 2 people to help him out, so it's even 3-on-3. And then Wu-Tang says, at the end of the game, whoever has the Joker card loses for their team. Shin wants to use his mind reading abilities to help them win, which is, I think, a smart play. And then Shin sees that Lou is crying because she clearly has the Joker, and this is like, she just has a bad poker face. And then lo and behold, Wu-Tang takes the Joker from Lou. And then Shin tries to take the card from Wu-Tang. And then Wu-Tang is just like, I know that you have my, I know the scam you're playing on me. And that causes Shin to lose the mind game because Wu-Tang is able to like manipulate his own thoughts to like stop the mind reading. I don't know. They don't describe it well in this episode. Taro ends up taking a card from one of Wu-Tang's teammates. Wu-Tang realizes that Taro is cheating using sleight of hand. And then eventually it's down to Taro and Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang tries to take Taro's ace of spades, but Taro won't let it. And then Taro uses his sleight of hand to swap cards. And then Wu-Tang pulls the card he thinks is the winning card, but instead it is that he thinks it's the wrong card. But it doesn't really matter because, hey, it turns out the guys that were there to help Wu-Tang are mad at him because they point their guns at everyone, including Wu-Tang. And they're not afraid. The idea that the leader of this clan is being decided in a game of cards doesn't sit right with them. They're just going to take her and kidnap her and make her be the boss, at least in name only. Then Taro's just like, is this what you want? Is this how you want to do it? Just kind of like motivates Wu-Tang to play mind games with his own guys. But he was bluffing. And then everybody just fight. They fight together and they beat up a bunch of people. And Wu-Tang was like, yeah, these guns weren't rigged the whole time. I lied to you. This fight is a fun little bit of business we don't often get to see Taro working with an enemy and they play off well. And it's a good high, fun scene. And then Wu-Tang is just like, you won, Taro, you won the bet, which is, gracious of him. And then we cut to a bunch of people, including Taro, Wu-Tang, I should say, at Sakamoto, the shop, and everyone's hanging out. And apparently, the thing we all knew as an audience, the guy X or Slur, Wu-Tang is just like, he's the guy that put out the bounty on you, which we knew, but Taro didn't know, so now he knows. And he gives some information about some people that are related to this that might be active with it. And the names of these people are characters that we will see in a second season. If there's a second season, Dump, Saw, Apart, and Minimalist. And they are all at a mall. They are, they fake their own deaths in prison to escape. And now they are on the lam. And they're hiding out in Japan. And apparently, they're like, we'll get it done in a month. And so Wu-Tang is warning them about that. He's like, hey, this is what's happening. You got all these people. And they're like, yeah, we'll stop them. And that's it. And it was kind of a rushed season finale. Like I said, it being 11 episodes. I don't know if they could have stretched this out into 3 episodes, if that would have made any sense to get to the 12. I was surprised that this was the end arc. Like, obviously, it does set up the second season, and it sets up a new character that might be associated with them, and that was interesting. And the fight scene was pretty fun. It was silly. The idea that Shin is like, my psychic abilities will really help here. Fuck, I don't know how to play cards. Shit, I don't know what to do. It was pretty funny. That was a good bit of business. Overall, I like the series a lot. As I said in my Joy of Anime Only, I know that the art is really good in the manga. The art jumps back and forth between very silly for the slice of life moments to deadly serious, incredibly well drawn black and white art for the fight scenes. And you don't get that in the anime, but it doesn't need to be in the anime. It's okay. It's okay that the anime doesn't have some of the unbelievable dichotomy that the manga has, because it's still really fun and good and looks great, and the fight scenes are fun and the humor is there and it's a good show. Am I missing out by not reading the manga or not finishing the manga? Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe, like, if I was deep into the manga, I would hate the anime adaptation, but I think the animation is solid, and it doesn't matter because I haven't read all of the manga, so I can just enjoy it. But yeah, and maybe this could have been 3 episodes, and and it would have been fun to have the cliffhanger and make a fight the whole episode or something. But I'm okay with that. I think it's fine. But it was fun, and we got to see more of the character, and we learned what's going on next season. So overall, I like this show a lot. I recommend Sakamoto Days. If you have Netflix right now, I would say you should watch the show. If you didn't watch it this season, I think it's really fun. It is a fun shonen. If you were worried about the idea that too many jokes would be at the expense of this, former assassin is now a fat guy, it's very much not a reoccurring gag. It is stated, but it is not the punchline. It did not bother me that they reference it a bunch, because he physically looks different than he used to. And that's part of life. But I thought this was a fun show. I really enjoyed it. And I would recommend it. Now, on to the 12th and final episode of ZENSHU. Reminder that this show is about a woman who died and has been isekai'd into a movie that she watched a lot as a teen, and we later found out really influenced her in her art style and her career in animation. But it is a tragic story, and even though she has been rewriting the story with her art because she could draw stuff and make it real, unfortunately, the story is kind of reverted back and it's changing. She's the characters in this world think that she is dead, and it has really fucked shit up. The robot QJ has been rebuilt, and the one of the characters notices a light from a void, one of these dark energy things, and breaks it apart to reveal Natsuko, our main character, who was presumed dead, is not dead. She's back. We knew that, but the other characters didn't know that. She's back. Also, Unio, the unicorn, is also back, which is great. The problem is our main character, who fell in love with Natsuko and is completely devastated that she is gone, just like he did in the original series when another character that he was in love with died. He destroys the MacGuffin, and he becomes the ultimate void, which destroyed the universe. And in the original movie, only QJ the robot is left, and everything else is dead. And looks like that's going to happen again, because Luke, in his grief, destroyed the world, and then a bunch of swords fall from the sky, and also sludge appears, and a bunch of characters die. So our heroes try to reason with Luke, who's now become the Ultimate Void. They try to be like, hey, I'm here, I'm fine. That doesn't work because he's a fucking void. Natsuko starts drawing, and her inspiration is... So one of the reasons why she's back to life is she was reminded that when she was going to give up doing animation as a child, this movie inspired her. The character Luke inspired her. So she starts drawing a bunch of different Lukes to fight the Ultimate Void. And QJ kind of encourages her. A bunch of people die that we like. Unio, who just came back to life, dies again, which was fucked. All the characters are dying. Citizens are dying. And then finally, QJ and Natsuko get hit with the sludge, and they start melting. And as she's dissolving, she creates one last Luke version of her boy to fight her boy, and then also declares that she loves him. She understands. Finally, she says that she loves him back, and dissolves, and everyone's dead. And then Luke, the fake Luke, the created Luke, destroys the Ultimate Void, and everything's gone. And then there's a new world for some reason, and all of the characters are back. Characters that died in previous episodes are back. Everyone's there. All of the soul futures, the MacGuffins, are fine. There are no voids. And the bird that has the soul of Kamataro, the creator of the desperate manga, the anime movie that was unhappy that our girl was rewriting the story. She does not enjoy this happy ending. This miracle happy ending happened, and she is not a fan of that. So she just flies off to be unhappy. Everyone's happy. And Natsuko collapses, and as she is returning to the real world, she and Luke have say they love each other, and Luke promises, hey, I'm going to find you. I will figure this out. I will find you. And then sometime in the future, in the real world, our main character still has the hairpin of Unio's horn. And hey, she's not mopey anymore. She got a haircut. She's a better person to be around. She's a better coworker to be around. And she finished the movie. The whole part of this thing was that before it was revealed that this was an isekai, when it was just, proposed to be, or promoted as, this is a story of a girl who, is trying to do an animated romantic comedy movie and can't fucking get it because she's never been in love. And we later find out the reason why she got pitched on this was that one of her bosses had a crush on her and was trying to, start a funny, weird, punish her for not being interested, or also teach her a valuable lesson or something. There was some kind of thing happening there, but she manages to tell the story that she wanted to tell, and apparently people really like it. And then right at the end of the episode, she's out on a walk, and we see that the horn is glowing. And she walks past a bunch of people, but she doesn't recognize that those are the 9 soldiers from the thing in the real world. And then the end of the final episode is her turning around with a surprised look on her face as she recognizes, wait, that's Luke and the others. And that's the end. Which obviously is saying, oh, hey, they somehow managed to get all of them, not just Luke, but all of them figured out how to get into that world, and they're all there together, and that's pretty fucking cool. And that's the end of ZENSHU. I knew going into this that this would have a happy ending because the original, and when I say original, I mean the anime movie within the anime, was dark. And I did not think that Mappa was going to do a dark ending of this. And they were going to like, I didn't think for a second, I didn't think she was going to stay dead. I thought, oh, okay, they're going to figure something out. They're going to do something. They'll figure out how to make this story work, and all that. But I was not expecting that she would go back to the real world. You can add this to the list that somebody out there has a list. I can't remember who does, but somebody made a list. One of the anime sites made a list of isekais where the main character goes back to their original world. It's very fucking rare. Some manga do it because most of the time stories just kind of end or the characters don't want to go back to their world. But on some occasions it does happen. There's like a short list. You can add ZENSHU to that because our main character does go back because the whole thing was, I guess, to get her to love and to rewrite a story from her childhood, rewrite a wrong from her childhood, which was the original version, I guess. So I said this when the show revealed itself to be an isekai. I still maintain this. I am also interested in an anime about an animator who has to figure out what love is and how relationships work so they can finish their animated movie. I still think that's a great idea for an anime. Also, the idea of an animator and an artist getting sucked into an isekai and still being able to draw is really interesting. I do think that's going to cool. And also, I think the idea of a artist that made a kind of schlocky animated movie that people critically and commercially didn't enjoy, being mad that their sad anime movie was being changed and someone was rewriting it, is interesting. Is that a foreigner song turned into an anime? I mean, yeah, a little bit, yeah. I get what you're saying there, yeah. A little bit, sure. I think this is a really inventive, interesting isekai. We don't often see original isekai that are not based on a light novel or a video game or a manga. So that's interesting. I thought that was cool. Like I said, we don't often see that. So that's interesting to have that happen in this form here. So I think that's pretty fucking cool. This one took a little while to get into, and I think the thing that was keeping me from really enjoying it was that I was kind of annoyed that I had been hoodwinked into a show that I wasn't necessarily super interested in. But as it went on, like, one of the things I did was I gave in because there was like, well, there's a Tiger Mask equivalent. Like, there's a wrestling equivalent in there, and I think you'll like that a lot. Yes, I did. I did like that a lot. So I eventually was super into it. It just took me a little while to get into it, but I did come around to it. And I do think, a thing that I do not practice what I preach enough of is really talking up original anime. Stuff that is not based on a thing. I don't watch enough of them. This season, I watched 2 of them. And I liked 2 of them. 2 of my favorite shows this season were originals. And so I need to be better about watching originals and not just watching manga adaptations or light novel adaptations or anything like that. I got to be better myself about watching original anime and talking those up. So I would recommend ZENSHU. I think that the art, I mean, look, serious issues with how Mappa runs itself as a studio. Of course, I've talked about that. I'll continue to talk about that. Supposedly, these contracts were better, according to some insiders, than previous contracts. They have another original show out next season. So I think that's the team that was doing. I think that's the group that is doing Lazarus. Did Jujutsu Kaisen, I believe. So hopefully they're in better place. The art is gorgeous. This was the one of if not the best looking anime this season was ZENSHU. I thought it was pretty fucking rad. I do recommend it. It is available on Crunchyroll. I would say you should watch it because it's pretty fucking good. And now as part of the stream, we have a few minutes left on stream tonight to talk about what y'all are up to. Are you playing any video games? You watching anything? You up to anything? You into anything? I always love hearing from you about what you got going on. So let me know. Over the weekend, did you watch any movies? Did you read any books? Listen to any music? What do you got going on? Let me know in the comments below because I always love hearing that. I will tell you that tomorrow there is a new expansion for Hearthstone, and I am excited about a new Hearthstone expansion. We'll probably do a stream of that sometime this month where I will show you some new decks. I don't have any necessarily set right now. I'm excited to find some tomorrow and check that out. So I am anticipating some stuff. Got some dragon decks coming probably. What I often end up doing is I will look for new cards. I will look through my new cards that I got and see if any of them fit into the decks that I already have. If any of the new cards make sense to trade in, if they improve any of the decks I currently use, both wild and standard, and then I'll play around with them. I'll see what they do, and if I want to pursue them, learn about the new mechanics if there are any, or old mechanics that are back, that kind of thing. And then I get a sense of kind of like not necessarily the meta, but just like what people are playing, what they're into, what's popular, what types of decks are popular, and then see if there's anything that I want to play in those new popular decks. And then I do have like one account that I follow on YouTube that still does weird decks. And so I'll watch those weird decks and see if any of those weird decks over the coming weeks interest me, any of the combo decks or cheese decks, and see if I want to grab those. Because I do love those. So that way I can see if there's anything that I want to grab from that. All right, now I got to put on here. We're almost done with the leg. We did one arm and one leg tonight, which is pretty good. Oh, I should panel line the back of this just in case you see it. Ghost Valve says, kind of spent a lot of time at home due to a gout flare-up. Sorry about that. My sympathies to you, Ghost Valve. Gout is not a fun fucking thing. Sorry to hear that. Gave me time to marathon all of Severance Season 2. Nice. Also put a good amount of time into Proverbs, which is a P-Cross Minesweeper-like with a good aesthetic. I have heard good things about Proverbs. Yeah, I haven't checked it out myself, but I have heard good things. I'm glad you put some time into that. That sounds great. And then Lord Crashton says, I got Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and it's pure Xenoblade Chronicles nonsense a good way. Ran into a side quest where I got ambushed in a cave by a bunch of alien squirrel monsters that farted a bunch. That sounds very good. That sounds like good shit. That's like the stuff. That's like the good stuff. Yeah, there should be a side quest with a bunch of squirrel aliens that fart. Yeah. Why would, if it wasn't in there, I'd be like, oh, why'd they cut that out? So good. Happy for you, Lord Crashington. Sorry. My allergies are whooping my butt. I'm going to blow my nose real good when the stream's done. All right, so this leg is completed. Oh, that popped out, so I got to pop that back in, and then I can say it's completed. Oops, why is that? Why are you not setting right? There it is. There it is. If this does keep popping out, all right, we're going to add in some liquid cement. I don't know why this piece keeps popping out, but I am not going to abide. Apply some liquid cement. Try not to breathe in any of the fumes. It's not that bad. This isn't like super bad to breathe in too much, but you don't want to do it too often. Try not to talk too much while I am opening that. All right, that should dry on there, and that'll be stable with that. Lorecrest says, I have not gotten the mech suit yet, so the real game hasn't started yet, being 11 hours in so far. Yes, it's not till you got to get a mech suit, and you can go. Lashmer says, I ended up playing a bunch of TCG Shop Simulator today. The ability for customers to sell you cards really helped my shop grow, as I regularly have like 4-figure value cards to sell. Got my first employee too. Ironically, haven't decorated my shop yet, despite that being the focus of this patch. Nice. Yeah, I haven't played that in a long time. Like, when you posted about that in the Discord, I was like, oh yeah, I like that game. I haven't played it in quite some time. I played the demo a lot, and then I got it in early access, and I just haven't done it. I should, probably, but I've just never been motivated to get back to it. Maybe I will someday. Maybe I'll wait till it comes out of early access and do it then. Anyway, what I can tell you what I'm going to do is, I'm going to wrap up the stream. We're going to raid. We're going to go find someone doing cool stuff, and we're going to go hang out with that person. So we'll go over here to this screen. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you have a great night. Reminder, while I get ready for this raid, I will remind you that tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be back here with Pat Bear's Anime Club, my ongoing video series where I talk about anime. It is the winter wrap-up / spring preview. So we'll be talking about the anime that was and the anime that is to come. And I hope you will spend some time with me for that because it'll be really fun. We are going to go raid Mary Kish. It's Mary Monday. So we're going to go hang out with our friend Mary. We love doing that. So please feel free to come along on this raid. I hope you do, because Mary is wonderful. What a good person, and a great community over there as well. So we'll go hang out with Mary and see about the game that she is currently playing, which is Guns of Fury, and her title still says Mary Thursdays because I think she streamed last week. But we're going to hang out with Mary. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Hope you come along this raid, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, everybody. Come back tomorrow. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.